Welcome to the Spring 2021 Initiation Ceremony for SIE Sigma Zeta chapter. I'm Zara Teek, VP of Marketing for the SIE chapter, and I will be standing in for our president, Andrea Uffman. This evening, we are joined by SIE officers, advisors, and guests to welcome 35 new members to our chapter. Tonight, you learn about our fraternity, its history and goals, and how it strives to make an impact on the professional lives of both members and non-members of the fraternity. So before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to our officer leadership team. They're a highly motivated and intelligent group of people that I've been lucky to work with this semester. Our first vice president, Morgan Cook, she couldn't make it today, unfortunately. Vice President of Marketing, that's me, Zara. We have Vice President of Finance and Recording, that's Rodrigo Miranda. Then we have our Vice President of Special Events, June Pham, and VP of Communications, Tada Yatulu. I would like to begin and tell you some basics of SIE and move forward with the rest of the evening. SIE is an honorary and professional management fraternity, which is dedicated to encouraging and recognizing scholastic excellence and promoting cooperation between the academic and professional aspects of management. Specifically, the purpose of SIE as described by our national chapter is to recognize student achievements in the field of management, facilitate discussion on contemporary management topics, and provide interaction among students, faculty, alumni, and professional managers. Over the last few semesters, our chapter has started to explore new ways to achieve these goals by hosting lectures and workshops that promote professional development for SIE members and all Gupta graduate students. We are very excited to have you join us today to share your enthusiasm and ideas as initiates, officers, and committee members. So welcome everyone. I would like to hand over the floor to Sherry now.
I was missing my mute button. Again, welcome everybody to our initiation for Spring 2021. I have the honor of welcoming our Dean, Dr. Landry. Dr. Landry received his doctorate degree from Mississippi State University and currently serves as Dean of the Gupta College of Business and Professor of Cybersecurity. Prior to his career in academia, Dr. Landry worked in information security, both in public and private sectors for more than 25 years. In addition to his scholastic experience, Dr. Landry holds numerous certifications from distinguished organizations that have proven fundamental to his contributions to the Gupta College of Business, to the college's certification and accreditation efforts, such as AACSB and National Center of Academic Excellence in Assurance by the NSA and Department of Homeland Security. After all of that, will help me welcome Dr. Brett Landry.
Thank you all. I wish we were all together tonight. Due to COVID, we cannot be, but I look forward to a time that we can all be together. I realize this is a difficult semester. It's been a couple of difficult semesters in terms of working from home, taking school from home, all the things that have been different during the pandemic. So for that efforts, I congratulate you that not only have you continued in your graduate studies, that you've done well, that you're being inducted into SIE. And on behalf of the faculty and staff of the college, congratulations. We're proud of your efforts, and we encourage you to continue the race, continue strong, okay? Whether that means taking classes in summer and fall, into spring, whatever you need to do. If you have questions about your courses, I'm gonna do a couple of shameless plugs here, but that's my job as dean. I get to do that. Is that if you have questions, you need to talk to Sherry and her team, okay? Sherry and Sharon and Sophia about when courses are offered. We are doing some new things this summer. We listened to what y'all have said. We tried some shorter courses in December. We surveyed you, and those of you that participated in the survey, thank you. about your summer plans, but we're going to offer 5 courses in a compressed format this summer. You can take them in the compressed format, or you can take them in the normal summer 10-week term. It's up to you. Those 5 courses will be offered online, asynchronous, so anytime, anywhere, but in a shorter format. So we'll have courses that happen in the month of May, courses that happen in the month of June, and courses that happen in the month of July. So again, talk to your advisors about those. We realize that many of you have been vaccinated. If you haven't been vaccinated, I encourage you to do so. But this summer may be a time for travel. It may be a time to get out of town. It may be a time for you to take some time with your family and do something different. And we realize that. So we're offering courses in a shorter term. So I also encourage you, if you have ideas for us on how to do things, some of you have heard this before. I've met many of you on the call tonight. Those that I've not met yet, I look forward to meeting you at a future date. But if you have ideas for the college, as dean, I don't have all the ideas. I don't know everything, but I know all the people that do. So send me an email at cobdean@udallas.edu, and someone from the dean's office will respond to you about things that you'd like to see us do, things that are working well. Those emails to the dean don't always have to be about things that are bad. We love hearing about things that are going well. We love hearing about your successes. We love being able to celebrate you on LinkedIn and on the college social media channels of your successes. So if you don't know who to send those to at the college, again, then go to your advising team. You can send them to us, COB Dean, Jackie, Joan, myself in the dean's office will respond back to you on that. But I know it's been a difficult time, and things will turn around, and just continue the race. Know that your faculty and staff at the college want you to do well. We want you to succeed, and we're here with you. With that, I turn it back to Sherry.
Thank you, Brett. We're so glad that you could join us tonight and say a few words. And we thank you so much for not only your support of SIE, but also of all of the faculty, staff, and students here at the Gupta College of Business. We love you. You're the best. I'm going to turn the floor over to Tala Talu, who is our VP of Communications, and she's going to introduce our phenomenal speaker for this evening.
Thank you, Sherry. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome our guest speaker for tonight, Mr. Erwin Ashford. Erwin serves as a Chief Community Officer for Comerica Bank. In his role, he oversees community reinvestment nationally and all associated activities, including development, lending, community investments, volunteerism, and data analysis. Additionally, Ashford leads Comerica's diversity business resource groups. Ashford previously served as Comerica's National Director of Financial and External Affairs and will maintain these responsibilities in his new role. Ashford remains a pillar in the community, aiding various civic and community groups that include serving on the board of directors for the Texas Women's Empowerment Foundation, Dallas Theater Center, Kim Kids, and Focus on Teens. He also is a board of trustees members for the Webb School in Bell Buckle, Tennessee, where Ashford was one of the school's first African-American graduates. In 2019, the University of Dallas inducted Ashford into the Satish and Yasmin Gupta College of Business Hall of Fame for his contributions to community and economic development initiatives in diverse and underserved communities. Ashford is a Woodrow Wilson International Studies and Public Policy Fellow, an American Marshall Fellow, and British American Project Fellow. A graduate of Oberlin College in Oberlin, Ohio, Ashford earned dual master's degrees, Public Affairs from the University of Texas and Business Administration from the University of Dallas. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Erwin Ashford.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? How's everybody? I've been asked to speak to you about my career progression and give you some tips and maybe some advice on what it's like for me as a manager and a graduate of UD. So I hope I'm within bounds with that request. One, let me tell you all, you're in good company. You're attending the right school. The school, what you're learning will serve you well over the course of your career. It's perhaps the best decision that I've made to attend UD, and I could have gone to any school that I wanted to. UD was flexible, easily accessible for me at the time, centrally located, and the network that the school has in the Metroplex is fantastic. And so I think as you begin your young career and as time passes on, you guys are going to be really thankful that you went to UD, because you'll be able to pick up the phone and call folks, call the deans, call me. And I think that what you're doing is in terms of attending the school and all wanting to be a manager or be in business of some sort is really important and necessary, particularly in today's world. We need more managers, more people that are dedicated to fixing things and processing things and seeing an end result. So for more background on some of you or many of you that don't know me, my career progression has taken maybe not a unique turn. I bet I have a lot in common with many of you on the phone and on Zoom. And then I would say there were some things that happened along the way that I had no control over. And although the young lady kind of gave you my bio in a nutshell, and I'm sure to many of you that sounds impressive, I can tell you that I come from extremely humble beginnings, and much of what I've achieved was really due to hard work and luck, and other people pushing me and prodding me and being in my corner and supporting me. So I'm originally from New York City. I'm from public housing on the Lower East Side of New York, otherwise known as Alphabet City. So when I say I come from humble beginnings, I mean extremely humble beginnings. If there was a first, second, and third base, to use a baseball analogy, I was born outside of the stadium, down the block, around the corner, 4 blocks that way and 6 blocks this way. And so my journey, not only through life and to get to UD, has been a long one, again, supported by hard work and lots of support and people pushing me and prodding me along the way. When I was a young boy, I took an aptitude test like all of you did, whether it was to get into UD or some other educational institution. And I happened to do well on the aptitude test. And because of it, I was afforded an opportunity to go to a boarding school. And so I went from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, from New York City, population 8 million, to a boarding school where the population was 206. So not 206,000 or 2,600 people. I mean 206. And so one of the life lessons that I learned along the way is that you have to be adaptable. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to take things as they come, not be easily moved one way or the other, and also be open to change. So many of you may come from other parts of the globe or other parts of the country, and you're at UD in Dallas, and it may be different or from what you're accustomed to. For me, leaving New York City and going to this boarding school, the Webb School, as the young lady mentioned, was founded nearly 150 years ago after the Civil War. It's the oldest continuous private / boarding school in the South. It's produced more Rhodes Scholars than any other high school in the country. Senators and heads of special fancy stuff graduated from the school. I happen to be the second African American to graduate from the school. The first graduated the year before me. After the Webb School, I went to Oberlin College. Oberlin is a liberal arts school in Ohio. So as you can imagine, going to a private boarding school and then going to liberal arts college, those are two different environments. So as a manager, again, you have to develop a sense of being flexible, being able to interact with people in different environments. Maybe, and today's buzzword often is speaking of diversity. I want to tell you that diversity isn't only about ethnicity, but it's also about diversity of thought. Are you able to interact with people that think differently from you, right? Because if you want to solve a problem, you don't want to solve a problem with people that only think like you. I guarantee if you do that, you're probably missing out on something, something's missing. In my department now, I use this phrase, you know, if 9 of us are thinking one way, I want to know what the 10th person is thinking. If there's the 10th guy is saying we should do something else, I'm paying extra attention to that person because maybe they're thinking about something that I'm not. Flexibility, adaptability will help you when you become managers, whether you're a manager of people or manager of systems or managers of projects, products. You know, you need to be adaptable and flexible. After Oberlin, and by the way, another life lesson, you may not always do well at first when you try something. I flunked out my first year of college. I was having too good of a time. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was away from home and I just partied and I flunked. So mind you, I went to boarding school where I was doing really well and, you know, I was really good academically. I went to college with other really smart people and ended up flunking out. And I had to go to the financial aid office or the dean of whatever. I had to go to the Brett Landry equivalent and beg them, please don't kick me out of school. Please, oh please, let me stay here. If you let me stay, I'll take care of it. I'll turn it around. Which means, as you managers, you're gonna fail. You're not always gonna do things right. There'll be something that you mess up on. What you need to learn to do is kind of regroup and reattack. So I like to say I finished college in 3 years because that first year was just a loss. I just flunked. But I did finish on time 4 years later, and I became a Woodrow Wilson Public Policy and International Studies Fellow. I'm going to tell you how I did that. I won't bore you with what that is because you can Google it or look it up. But essentially, you know, I'm a public policy nerd. And because I was a fellow, this fellowship paid for me to go to graduate school and paid me to be in graduate school. It was the most awesomest scholarship under the sun. And I could have gone to any school in the country for free. I chose to go to University of Texas, LBJ School of Public Affairs. You know, I went there, had a good time and graduated, but I want you to see, you know, a connection from where I began and where I ended up at my first graduate university. So I went from New York to Belleville, Tennessee, to Cleveland, Ohio, to Austin, Texas, which means you managers, You may have to move around. Your company or your companies may move you around. You may have to start at one job and end up at a job. Get the information that you need from one place and maybe take it to another place. Dr. Landry will tell you folks don't always stay at the same company for a long period of time. Maybe they're recruited because of the information and the knowledge and the experience you have to go somewhere else. So while you know, all of us like to think they know the progression of your career, I assure you, if you're going to have a really full career, a full opportunity to thrive and maybe stretch and go beyond your bounds, you may be doing it in places that you're not quite aware of right now, maybe somewhere else. After I graduated, or while I was at UT, here's a stumbling block. Again, things happen. I had a professor who was a famous professor who worked for LBJ. For those of you that don't know, it's Lyndon Baines Johnson. He was president of the United States. And this person discriminated against me. And while doing it, he said, well, you must have got into this school because you played football, right? So he said, there's no way you can be smart in that school. You know, you must be a football or basketball player. It was me and my roommate. Both of us happened to be at UT. We both went to Oberlin. My roommate now is a high-ranking corporate executive at a very big company that you would all know. So clearly, we both, you know, did well in the end. And so I had a decision to make. Do I say something? Do I report him? Do I go to the dean? Do I speak up for what's right? As a manager, you're going to have to do that at some point, sometime. Speak up, particularly if, hey, our production process is off. We need to change this. We need to invest in this. It's called having managerial courage. And managerial courage isn't developed, you know, in a vacuum. It's developed over time in little ways, bits and pieces as you go when you speak up for what's right, not only for you, but for other people. So I reported this person. And nothing happened because he had tenure. And nothing happened because he was famous and a well-known person. But he knew he couldn't just do anything to me, and I wasn't just going to let it go. It developed a sense of respect amongst the other professors and the dean at the LBJ school. I graduated from the LBJ school. And after I went to New York, and I worked at a nonprofit. So my first job was as a director at a big nonprofit on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, far from banking, far from anything I'm doing now, but I went there, I used the information I learned in graduate school, and I implemented programs, processes, and procedures. I did all sorts of fancy things that I otherwise would not have been able to do had I, say, started out at a bank. Because they would have said, well, you're young, you don't know what you're doing, you need to go through this program. And luckily, I was able to do some things. And at my nonprofit, what I learned was, you know, typically when you're young, you care about yourself. You care about you and what's going to happen to you and how are you going to make it and how much are you going to be paid. I think as you progress through your career and you become a manager, you evolve from that and you start thinking about the team. What's best for the team? What's going to happen to the team? Is this best for my employee? What do I need to do to bring out the best in that person or that person? So it was a good learning experience for me. I was in New York. I stayed there 3 years. I was director of something fancy. And I moved back to Texas, worked at the city of Dallas. And if you guys are here, the AAC, where the Mavs play, I was a finance manager for the AAC. I'm one of the people that helped not only finance its construction, but all of the public infrastructure construction around it. I just happen to have a degree in public finance. So that makes sense, right? I'm helping to finance a public-private partnership between the city, a private developer, and a sports team. And I did that. But while I was doing that, I ended up at UD. And I said, hey, I need to get an MBA. And so I came to the school and learned all the MBA stuff from people like Mr. Landry and Dr. Bell and all of that. I learned all I can do. I believe I was a good student, but more than a good student, I loved it. Why did I love it? I loved the interaction between the students, between the teachers, the groups, all of that. And when I graduated in 2000, which is 20 years ago, 20 years ago, I didn't know I wanted to be a manager. I just kind of knew I want to make a lot of money. I want to get paid, right? And again, as you get older, you realize that you may start out thinking only about you, but as you matriculate through life, if you focus your attention on others, how to serve, how to service, how to help, how to improve, how to just kind of do things outside of the box, outside of yourself, then good things happen. And so I went from working at the city of Dallas to working at Chase to working at Comerica. I was a VP at Comerica and then won all sorts of awards, brought in all sorts of money. I managed a small group of people. Because I managed a small group of people, then I managed a bigger group of people, then a bigger group of people. And over time, 20 years later, now I manage lots of people, lots of processes. I think I have 30 plus kind of direct reports, 250 indirect reports, a lot of people. And some of the lessons I've learned as a manager, at a big bank, the largest bank headquartered in Texas, I've learned some things. So I wrote them down so I don't have to remember. I've told you in the beginning, you kind of think about yourself, but in the end, you should be thinking about others, and the others are customers, shareholders, your constituency, the community, and your family. Put your family first, and everything else will follow. The motto in my group is family, community, then Comerica. Family, community, then Comerica. I think Comerica gets the best out of me when I focus on those things. Be well-rounded. As a manager, you should travel, you should read, you should do community service. You should try to involve yourself in diversity efforts because the world is changing. And lastly, a tidbit for all of you really smart people, always say less than necessary. Typically when you're smart, you want to impress people. You want to say, let me tell them this and let me say that. I'm going to dazzle them with my words. But oftentimes it doesn't come across that way. I think what you should do is listen more, speak less, and ask questions. How can I help? What would you like? How can I do this better for you? Lastly, and the main piece of advice I have for you is don't get too high with the highs or too low with the lows. I wish someone had told me that 20 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of heartache whenever I didn't get the promotion, whenever I didn't get the thing that I thought was coming my way, whenever I didn't get to manage the group that I thought should come to me, whenever I didn't get paid the amount of money I thought I should be paid. I probably was too emotionally involved in the process, and I should have been a little more even keeled. In the end, it kind of worked out for me. I am in the C-suite. I'm getting paid. Everything is kind of okay now. But I wasted too much time kind of bickering with myself. So I leave you future managers, and I'm extremely proud of all of you that are being inducted today, tonight. I leave you with, if I can ever help you, please reach out to me. I'm easily available and reached. Sherry can give you my contact number. And I tell you, enjoy every step, every moment as you go. Don't save it for later. Enjoy it as you go. Sherry, did I hit at least some of what you wanted me to say?
Absolutely, that was so great.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ashford, for your willingness to share your experiences with our chapter and our guests. And everything you said was inspiring and motivating. We shall now proceed with the initiation of our newly elected members, SIE officers, and members. I present 35 candidates for membership into the Sigma Zeta chapter of Sigma Iota Epsilon. Each candidate for membership has been carefully selected in accordance with the standards set forth in Article 3 of the SIE National Constitution. Now, please turn on your microphone and respond me with I do. Candidates, do you desire to become members of Sigma Zeta chapters of Sigma Iota Epsilon? If so, then answer I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. The honor of membership in Sigma Iota Epsilon brings certain obligations. Before accepting you formally into our fraternity, Zara will inform you of our goals and philosophy. By pledging to uphold our goals and philosophy, you take a giant step toward understanding and appreciating the nature of the managerial career you have chosen as your profession. Zara will continue.
Was that a cue for Zara to continue?
Oh, yes.
That's right. I thought I heard Zara, yeah.
I'm so sorry for the delay. I'll just walk you through the goals of SIE. Thank you so much, Tala, for giving me the opportunity to speak about the SIE goals. Just as the old stainless textile mill, which is depicted on our key, that symbolizes the first attempt to apply a new and creative system to production, our fraternity and its programs encourage production in the broad sense of development of resources, both human and material. The symbolic of early organizational philosophies, the Taylor functional organizational chart depicted on our key. It serves to remind us of the early movement toward a discipline of management from which modern management thought has evolved. It initiates constantly strive to develop our managerial abilities so that you may not only enhance your own careers, but moreover better serve those to whom you are responsible and those for whom you are looking after. Lining our key is a pin which is symbolic of the spirit of cooperation, and cooperation involves a concerted integration of will, mind, and body, leading to a synergistic effect wherein the whole becomes greater than the sum of the parts. You have learned that management ideas are necessary for the full development of human and material resources, and that organizational is an essential component of management in our complex world. Moreover, you have also learned that cooperation is a necessary integrative force for managerial effectiveness, a force that serves society by satisfying human needs, providing material welfare, and delivering unexcelled quality. Through such a service, we as managers contribute greatly to our fellow men and women, as well as to future generations. You have heard our philosophy and our goals. The Greek letters in our name stand for earnestness, knowledge, and excellence. Our emblem is a key, which should remind us of the wisdom and practicality signified by the concepts of creative development, organization, cooperation, and service. SIE exists to promote management as a humanistic and creative profession that is vital for the maintenance and enhancement of our way of life. Candidates, having heard our philosophy, do you now accept these fraternal goals and resolve to pursue these ideals to the best of your ability? If so, say, I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. I'll turn the floor over to Sherry to welcome and introduce our initiates.
Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Sherry Collier. I am the admin support for our Sigma Iota Epsilon Sigma Zeta chapter, as well as academic advisor here at the Gupta College of Business. Admin support just means if you send an email to the SIE email address, it probably goes straight to me. So hello to everybody that I've communicated with via email. Give me 1 second as I share screen. Here we go. Let's get through some of these great slides that we put together for you all. So on the screen here are the names of our Spring 2021 initiates. I'm not going to butcher everyone's name, but here you all are, and we're so excited to have you join SIE. Let's all welcome them with a round of applause. And applause for yourself for accepting the call to join us. This is an organization where you are invited to join us, but you also have to put in an application to say that you would like to be a member. So we're excited that you all have decided to join us, and that we hope that you're going to commit time and effort, because that's exactly what you'll get out of it if you dedicate your time to our organization. Speaking of dedicating time, you guys met some of our officers that have helped with the initiation to this evening. However, we do have 2 officer positions still available for members to apply, and new members absolutely can apply for those. They are our VP of Operations as well as our VP of Marketing, because Zara will be graduating this semester. So if you're interested in either of those positions, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to give you more information about those positions and give you some tips on how to navigate being an officer for an org and juggling your classes, because that's what we all strive to do. In the next week, everyone will receive a certificate and a pen. Due to COVID, there have been lots of issues with shipping and getting things here on time. So I'm going to make sure that we get those out to everyone this week. If you have questions, again, go ahead and send an email to sie@udallas.edu, and that email will come directly to me. Before we conclude the evening, I'd like to share a few ways that you can benefit and stay involved with SIE, as I explained before. One benefit available to you is the Keith Davis Graduate Scholar Award. The SIE National Office awards 1 first place scholarship in the amount of $1,250. That's lots of books, or 1 semester of 1 credit hour worth of semester here at the University of Dallas. as well as a second and a third place scholarship ranging between $250 and $1,000. Again, substantial scholarships and easy to apply. The national website has all of the guidelines for how to submit your paper because it is a paper essay that you submit in order to qualify for the scholarship. Again, you can go to sienational.com to see the guidelines, and you'll also receive an email from me, from the chapter, as the deadline approaches, which is March 15th of every year. So right now you've missed this year, but you absolutely want to go ahead and start that paper so you can submit for next year's award. For the 2019-2020 academic year, two of our members, Matthew J. Sargent and Pauline Akatsa Hinga, won $750 scholarships for their submissions. So our students are being seen and they are winning awards. So you definitely have an opportunity to do that. The Sigma Zeta chapter also won Chapter of the Year for 2019-2020. Round of applause for that. Congratulations to all of our members for helping us put on great events over the academic year, as well as our officers and Dr. Jude Olson, our advisor, who dedicate time and effort to putting together the application to apply for Chapter of the Year. You should see, once we get the plaque in the mail, it will go up on LinkedIn for everybody to see. So definitely take a look there. You'll see when it arrives. We hope that many of you will pursue the scholarship opportunity. We also hope that you'll get involved in the events and take opportunity to network and get to know other members. You can do that via our LinkedIn page. And then again, don't forget about those 2 officer positions that are available to you. So definitely reach out to me if you are interested in those positions, and I'll be happy to give you information that you need to apply. That is all for me. So I'm going to hand the floor back over to Zara to close out our evening.
Just a final note for everyone. I want to remind anyone who is graduating this May that you have the opportunity to order a gold satin SIE stole to wear at graduation. If you are graduating in the summer or fall, there will be an opportunity to purchase them before the December graduation. For that, please contact Sherry with any questions. We also hope that as we continue our journey at the Gupta College of Business, you will also take full advantage of our social networking events. As a member, you will also have access to our LinkedIn SIE community, where you will have access to our alumni network, articles, networking opportunities, job leads, and much more. We encourage you to join our LinkedIn group if you have not already done so. Another thank you so much, Erwin Ashford, Dean Landry, Dr. Susan, Dr. Bell, Sherry, for being with us and supporting our chapter. Thank you to all of our guests for joining here us tonight. We hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and congratulations again to all our new members.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.